Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I was having a very interesting discussion with one of the viewers in my channel with regards to binary triggers. Are they worth the expense? Okay, so this gun's got a binary in it. I think it costs something like $400. With shipping and taxes, it comes out to something like $450. So, and for those of you not aware, the way the binary works is it's a three positions. That's a safe position. Okay, in the vertical position, it's a single shot, just like any other trigger. But if you roll it back around, it now fires one shot when you press the trigger and then another shot when you release it. Okay, so it's still, basically it's still firing one shot. Technically, it's firing one shot with every pull, so it can't be classified as a machine gun, right? Um, but when you release it, you get that second shot. So in reality, it's basically a two-round burst, practically speaking. Okay, so the question becomes, for $450, is it worth it when you do have some other options available to you? Okay, so one of the options is simply bump firing the gun. Okay, I've done plenty of videos on bump firing. You don't need a bump stock. The technique that I use is I'll hold the gun here, I'll put my thumb on the outside, I'll put the stock on the outside, and what I'll do is I'll pull the gun forward, and basically the gun, rocks back and forth on the outside of my shoulder, simulating full auto fire. And I'm still able to get my dot on target and get reasonably effective hits out to maybe about 30 yards. Okay, so obviously that doesn't cost anything more. So that's one option, right? That's a legal option. And then there's the illegal options, right? Which I'm neither going to recommend or not recommend, okay? Because I'm not one of those guys that will tell you follow your laws, right? Because if the laws are unconstitutional, I'm not going to tell you to follow them, okay? So you do what's good for you, but I'm just, letting you guys know that, don't get caught, okay? And remember, everybody is a Fed, everybody is an informant out there, okay? But the reality is there's plenty of videos out on the internet that show people 3D printing these and also just, manufacturing them out of metal. And the shape looks something like this, right? So it's got this pattern over here. Basically, this sits. Basically, you open up the gun. The rear pin sits over here, and the way this works is when you're holding the trigger down after you fire a shot, right? The bolt comes back. It resets your hammer. When the bolt goes forward, the bolt hits the top of this sear and pushes this leg down into the disconnector, okay? And then while you're still holding the trigger, because it pushes down on the disconnector, that releases the hammer, and you get full auto fire that way. And I've seen plenty of videos where this works. It does work. People have said that you may have to tweak it a little bit. You have to. There's a little bending involved to get the lengths and the curves correct. But there's plenty of videos out there. So the genie's out of the bottle. Okay, there's like a lot of these videos have been viewed like hundreds of thousands of times, and there's lots of them out there. So there's no putting this genie back in the bottle. All right. So given that this information is out there, okay, is it worth getting a binary trigger? Okay, so for me it is for two reasons. Number one, I'm a public person. I have a channel. I travel around. I train people. A lot of the times when I'm traveling, the people that I meet, I don't know who they are. I don't know if they're feds, informants, whatever. So I have to stay clean. Okay, I can talk about stuff like this. All right, I can tell you how it works, but I can't have any of this stuff. Okay, but that's just me. That's not you guys. Okay, so you guys, do what's good for you. Okay, I can tell you guys as a range safety officer, and I've supervised lots of different ranges over the years. Whatever people show up with at the range, I assume it's legal. Okay, so if they got a suppressor, I don't ask for paperwork. If they got a short barrel rifle with a stock on it, I don't ask for paperwork. So I assume that whatever you bring to the range, it's legal. My job as the range safety officer, at a public range is safety, making sure that everybody is being safe. I'm not there to basically check your paperwork, okay? I have no interest in doing that. The only thing is that a lot of ranges that, over the years that I've supervised, they won't allow full auto fire, okay? So that's the one issue that you may run into. So I personally don't care if you you know, if you have a full auto and if you've got your paperwork with you or not. But if the range doesn't allow full auto fire, that's I have to enforce that because I'm working for the range at that point. But if the range does allow full auto fire, I'm probably going to ask you to try it out. Okay, I'm not going to ask you for any paperwork. That's not my job. But I am going to probably ask you to try it out. Okay. So anyway, but that is the reason why I can't have something like this, because I'm a public person. Now, one of the good things is when I hold up a paper like this, and I probably got a whole team of feds watching my channel, as long as they're looking at me, they're not looking at you guys. So I'm the distraction for you guys, all right? Because, like I said, the information's out there. People are 3D printing these. People are bending these. Just don't buy them, because anybody that you're buying them from, assume that they're a Fed, or assume that they're a Fed, or assume that they're an informant. Right? And I'm not telling you to go and 3D print these or build these, but I'm just saying that definitely don't buy them. Okay, if you choose to do something like this, don't get it from somebody else. Okay, but anyway, going back on topic here, the subject matter is, are the binary triggers worth the expense? So for me, it is, because number one, I have to stay legal because I'm such a public person. But number two, right, the second reason why they're worth it is because the 2-round burst is really close to the 3-round burst that the military uses. Okay, so way back in the late 60s and maybe early 70s, the military moved away from full auto M16s, and the reason is because they found that they were just not as effective. People were just wasting ammunition, and they moved to the 3-round bursts. Okay, because they found that they were just more effective. So the 2-round burst of the binary trigger is pretty close to that. Okay, so that's another reason why, even if I wasn't such a public person, right, where, let's say, making something like this was not an issue for me, it is, but let's say if it wasn't, that would be a reason why it would be worth for me to spend the $450 to get a binary trigger, because I can practice certain things. I can practice using a gun that is close to a military style 3-round burst. So let's try a couple of shots with this. I got 2 targets over there. I'm going to be going back and forth between the 2 targets, okay? And I should pretty much be able to keep all my rounds on target. So, as you can see, with the 2-round burst, I mean, I don't even think I missed any targets over there, right? So it is very effective. So that would be a reason why you would want to spend that money, as opposed to, doing something like this. Okay? So let me know what you guys think. If you're not a member of the channel, subscribe. Make sure that you're following me on my uncensored platforms. On Odyssey, I'm Pocono Tactical. On BitChute, I'm also Pocono Tactical. On Rumble, I'm Pocono Guns. And then on YouTube, my channels they back each other up. I got Absolute Gun Rights, Pocono Shooting, and the original Safa channel, which goes back to 2006. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you all soon.